Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Horror, AHS NYC episode 4. Now, I understand this episode is a little late. No worries for any of it. At least I'm still doing it. Haha. Better to be late than pregnant. Okay, so let's talk about episode 4. Immediately following this one, I will also be talking about episode 5 and so on and so on. So let's get into episode 4 and get into the synopsis, which this episode was written by Ned Martell and Charlie Carver, which he wrote a lot of episodes this season. And I'm really happy to see him on here. But guys, when we left off episode 3, Gino was in the morgue freezer. Mr. Whiteley was running around the hospital with Patrick following him. But thankfully, Patrick ends up saving Gino and they get out of the hospital. However, Mr. Whiteley does get away. At least Gino got saved. That's all I care about. As long as Gino lives, I'm straight. Okay. Well, sorry. I'm gay with happiness, I should say. So basically, sadly though, since Patrick had been in that place with all of the flea infested cats, he got fleas and he brought them home. And sadly, Gino gets the fleas and they have like these kind of sores that are going around from the fleas, and it really sucks. Now, Gino goes to see Kathy, who is the owner of the gay bathhouse where a lot of the men have gone missing. And he asks her for help. And Kathy, her name is Kathy Pizzazz. I love her character. I have to say that she's definitely a no nonsense woman who just doesn't have time for anything that could ruin her business. But she does give Gino like a little quick quote for his newspaper. So that way, she can at least acknowledge that there is a problem. People are gone missing and the police are doing nothing about it. So next we move to Patrick, and he has been summoned to investigate something really strange. Hans has reappeared, but he's in his bedroom on his bed and he's dead and appears to be with some sort of like an infection and physical injuries like contusions. So they don't really know necessarily what happened to him. They think that it was his lover that killed him. However, his lover was crying over his body and was the one who called the police. So the Emmy doesn't know exactly what happened, but Patrick knows that, look, it wasn't the boyfriend. We'll just have to wait and what comes back with the autopsy, and the autopsy will take a couple of weeks. And don't forget, guys, if you are enjoying Beyond the Horror, YouTube doesn't like me, but maybe you guys will. So just like the video if you're enjoying the live stream or the video, and I will be very grateful. If you want to go a step further and subscribe, that is your choice. Now, Sam and Theo have a little conversation over at Sam's apartment, and it looks like that, Theo is just had it up to his neck with Sam and his crap. He confronts him about Stu, the guy that he kept in his basement, and Theo tells Sam that, look, I want a good life with a good person. But Sam is dark. And, Sam asks Theo if he really thinks that Sam could, kill someone. And Theo says yes. So Sam calls him out and he's like, look, if you really think I could kill somebody, call the cops and let them and turn me in. But if you call the cops, you're going to lose everything, your career, your connections, your money. So Theo hangs up the phone and he just straight up walks out of the apartment. I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comments if you would feel good about yourself knowing that you had success because you let a supposed. I mean, if Theo truly believes that Sam is killing these people, he's got to call the cops. I mean, I can't believe he's like, oh, my career, my career. Screw your career. If Sam is really out there killing these kids, you need to turn him in. Screw the connection, screw the money. That's not worth all these kids' lives. And I just can't believe that that's what Theo does, that he just walks out the door. So, okay. I'm raging right now, but in the episode, Gino was raging at Adam to do more. He's like, Adam, stop bitching and actually get off your butt and do something. And the lights flicker at that time. And that's when we first get the sign of the impending blackout. Now, someone follows Adam on his way to meet Theo. And when Adam sees Theo, he tells him, hey, look, I left Sam. So Adam invites Theo over to his place for a sip of water, a little pizza, a little sex, a little Netflix. And they have just this, awesome little time together. And after Adam walks Theo out of the building, he checks his answering machine and finds, someone breathing and like moaning on the answering machine. And that's when the lights go out in Adam's apartment. And that's, I don't know. Remember, phones are different back then, phone lines. And so I understand a lot of people work. He's like, how did he get a call? But yeah, he got a call on his landline from his friend Morris asking him to come to a party, a blackout party. Guys, there's a serial killer on the loose. There's someone killing gay men. And there's the son of Sam, which, yeah, I mean, I'm ready for. I'm getting excited for this season. But it's a blackout. Why would you leave the safety of your apartment or your house or wherever you are and go to some party where killers are running rampant in the city? Just the more you know. Listen to Mary here. If you're ever in that situation, don't party, okay? Just hang out at your house, roll a joint, smoke a little joint, drink some alcohol, and play with a deck of cards. Or grab a book. Grab a book. You're going to be just fine. Don't go to a party, especially if there's serial killers around. Now, back at the police station, Captain Penn is really mad about Gino and the information that he's been putting in the journal, in his newspaper. He seems to be getting like confidential police information, and Captain Penn confronts Patrick about who could be the leak. And this is when Patrick takes the opportunity to come out as a gay man at work. Everything is all quiet, and that's when the lights go out. So the blackout happens for Patrick right then and there. For Barbara and Gino, Barbara goes over to Gino's apartment and she gets all Karen on him about Patrick and his secrets and his lies. Just all of this stuff about just Patrick. So she pulls out this leather mask to show Gino that she found this in Patrick's stuff. She doesn't say where she found it, but I don't think she even confirms that. I don't remember if she confirms it was Patrick, but she just brings it out of her purse. So she continually talks to Patrick about his secrets, or can talk to Gino about Patrick's secrets. And, I honestly got a feeling that she just was mad that Patrick was gay and didn't tell her and married her and felt that he ruined her life. So, Gino is basically begging her to leave when the power goes out on both of them. But he still kicks her out anyway. He's like, girl, I don't care if there's a blackout. I want you out of my apartment. But before she leaves, she implores Gino to confront Patrick and ask him to tell him the truth. And when we go back to the police station, Mr. Whiteley calls up Patrick and he's like, hey, come over for some tea and crumpets over at Central Park or I'm going to be killing. Come join me. So, he takes the bait. Patrick goes to Central Park with his partner, but instead of Mr. Whiteley, he sees Big Daddy. He tries to shoot Big Daddy and it doesn't work, and then all of a sudden the guy disappears. So yeah, that was so crazy and confusing. But while Adam is walking in the park to the party, Sam drives up and asks him to get into his car. And I was like, don't do that. But he did. Why? I have no idea. So anyway, in the car, Sam tells Adam that Theo's going to grow bored of him soon. He needs excitement in his life. He's going to grow bored of their little Sally homemaker relationship, and he's going to return to Sam. He always does. So the meat of this episode really happens at the end. And at the park, Patrick and his partner arrive. And of course, remember, they find Big Daddy. And Big Daddy catches up with Patrick. Patrick is literally aiming right at Big Daddy and shoots his gun. and he doesn't hit Big Daddy. He drops his flashlight and he's like, oh, he's all thumbs. And it's like, really? You're a police officer? You had to pass basic handgun training 101. I mean, what the fuck? Seriously. I don't get it. I just don't get that. But anyway, so when he gets his gun and his flashlight again, Big Daddy is gone, but his partner's there, and they search the park for Big Daddy, but I guess they don't find him because the next thing you know, um, Patrick is back home with Gino. And Gino confronts him about, his love of leather, his cheating, everything. And this is when Patrick admits about his cheating. He admits everything. And Patrick has this huge panic attack. Gino has the panic attack, and Patrick calls an ambulance. And at the hospital, the doctor doesn't know exactly what's wrong with Gino, but she's running tests. She does know that he has cat scratch fever. I really didn't realize I thought that was just a song. I'm not trying to sound stupid, but I never heard of anybody getting cat scratch fever except me whenever I hear the song, and I'm like, cat scratch fever. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So Gino basically turns away from Patrick as he lays in the hospital bed, and Patrick is trying to comfort him. Now, meanwhile, Mr. Whiteley is busy just hacking away at a body in a park when two men stumble upon him because, I guess that's things you do in the dark aren't necessarily kept in the dark. They decide to follow Mr. Whiteley so they can call the police and tell him his address and all that stuff, but that is a costly mistake for them because when they follow him into the building, Mr. Whiteley is there holding the elevator door open for him, and he's got a bag, and all the kids know, the two boys know this guy's carrying a human head. Mr. Whiteley knows I'm carrying a human head. These kids know I am. And so they're all in the elevator like, trying to Mr. Whiteley's trying to intimidate them, and it's working. And then the power goes out. Oh my God. And the episode ends with the fate of the two unfortunate boys that got on the elevator with them hanging. Guys, as I said it before, this episode had such delicious meat. I am so glad to have you here, Blaze. It is so glad to see you. Thank you so much. Mrs. T, hello to you. Steven, am I doing a rewatch? No, darling. I just, I got so busy. I was not able to work. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I was looking for my meds this morning. I have morning medication that I have to take, and I could not find it for the life of me. And I'm down here, and I just found it. I am so sorry. I'll put it up there and forget about it for right now. I'm just catching up on previous episodes. I'm starting my rewatch though. So these are just episodes going on the first time watch. So when you see Beyond the Heart, I will just be reviewing the episodes as they aired without going through a rewatch. Hello, Eileen. It is so great to have you here. Thomas Perry, as usual, thank you for being here. Stephen, as usual, hello again. And Adam, I love you. Thank you for being here. Yes, the pills have been found. Thank goodness. So I loved the delicious meat in this episode, and I believe I ranked it an 8. I gave it 8 Big Daddies. I didn't realize that that's how I should have been ranking my episodes this season. Yeah, I give this episode 8 Big Daddies. It was really nice. I mean, it had a really great climax. Number one, Gino survived by getting saved by Patrick. So the crappy things that Patrick has done kind of makes up by saving Gino. Makes up just a little, for saving Gino. So yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it had great hard work in the character development and the meaty plot and a beautiful climax at the end with the two boys that were left in the elevator with Mr. Whiteley. It's like, what's going to happen to them? I mean, number one, I'm sure he has tools in that little bag head of his, with the bag in the head. I'm sure he has his little tools in there. So I'm sure he's armed and dangerous. However, I mean, it's two young men against Mr. Whiteley, who doesn't appear as physically fit as them or like Big Daddy. So I don't understand how Mr. Whiteley will be able to physically attack them, but maybe with the blackout, the fact that they can't see, And Mr. Whiteley probably has extra syringes to just inject them with to make them sleep. I guess I could see how he would be able to, possibly do this. So, um, Steven says, I think every season of AHS is beautiful in its own way. Me too. That's why whenever everybody asks me to rank it from favorite to worst, it's like, I don't have a worst season of AHS except for Double Feature, because every one of them was unique in their own way. So, um, yeah, Ryan Murphy and did a whole lot of stuff. So Blaze says, I kind of dislike the season but I didn't hate it. Okay, Blaze. I have to say, I still haven't gone back to look back at the finale again, but I have to say, the only reason if I would have any dislike whatsoever is that it went by so fast. So I didn't have time to do enough theory videos and that it made me bawl my eyes out. I mean, again, it was really good. So, Cola Coven, Cola Coven, it is so great to have you here. Mrs. T says the season went so quickly. Yeah, exactly. Cola Coven says, LOL, except for double feature. Yeah. Absolutely. Eileen says Feud premieres in the spring, so at least we'll have that before AHS 12. Yeah, and hopefully we'll have Story season 3. As far as I know, American Horror Stories has been picked up for season 3. So hopefully we'll have that. But this episode had such great potential and great development. Now, if you guys have not watched the rest of the season, I do recommend for you to go on ahead and end the video here and move on to episode 5, because some of us are going to discuss for about 5 or 10 minutes very quickly about how this episode pertained to the rest of the season. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't had a chance to see it. So please click away now, again, if you haven't watched the rest of the season and you don't want to be spoiled. So, okay. What I wanted to say in this episode is that Mr. Whiteley was such a huge monster. I mean, killing these guys and taking out the guys in the elevator. I mean, really and truly, it kind of seemed like nobody could take Mr. Whiteley down. And I was really shocked in episode 7 or 8 when they took him down so fast. Henry, Gino, and Patrick. I mean, I was just a little shocked at how he died. I kind of thought maybe it would be a little bit more public. Maybe it would be a little bit more not as like Saw. But I genuinely liked the Mr. Whiteley storyline. I liked what he was trying to do. I understand what he was trying to do, though I don't condone it. By the way, guys, since we're talking about that, I want to say happy Transgender Awareness Week to everybody out there, in case you're not aware, and which I wasn't aware as well. I just found out recently that this week is Transgender Awareness Week. So please go out there and do some research and check out research and statistics on transgender, because everybody is the same. They just, instead of using the skin that they were born with, they're changing to the skin that they want. And who can blame them? Trust me, if I could not go outside during the summertime and mow my front lawn in my old Prada heels and short shorts, I'd be mad. I would be so mad, and I don't understand how anybody would have a right to tell me what I could and couldn't do. So I feel the exact same way. I don't think anybody should have a right to tell me if I'm a female or a male or what I should be. I think I have that right. So please go out there and maybe donate if you can to some transgender support group if they accept it. Maybe just give a little shout out on your social media. I don't know, Twitter might have fallen by now, but or go check out some stats and statistics, because it should be something that we are all aware of and very supportive of. Though if you are not, no worries. You don't have to. Just be kind. Just be kind. If you see someone that you think is a man walking into Walmart with makeup and nail polish and this gorgeous wig, and you're like, that's a dude, and you say, dude, are you a dude? Don't do that. Just say, oh my God, you are so pretty. And that's it. That's all you got to do. You got to be kind, show love. So, I really, again, loved this episode. It had so much meat, though how it was at the end, I just really didn't like how Mr. Whiteley was taken out so fast. I was hoping that we would get the flashes that we got with Gino when he was typing up in the newspaper after Whiteley died of the Sentinel going around. I kind of actually hoped we would get that and that we would be able to see the Sentinel alive and stalking kind of New York City a little bit. I wanted that kind of horror, you know. I'm probably wrong, but I don't think the writers or creators ever had that intention. However, when the Sentinel did come down, I did notice the bags and the tubes going into it. So I did wonder, is he alive? Is that guy alive? Is he alive? Oh my God, I think he's alive. So yeah, absolutely. That's we had some great gore. And I have to say too, in this episode, there was definitely some decent scares, such as Mr. Whiteley being in Central Park, which I'm not gonna lie, I've never been to New York. I've heard tons of stories about what happens in Central Park at night, and that's not a place where you want to be. But I really enjoyed AHS embracing that. I guess I wouldn't say a stereotype, but of things that truly do happen in New York. I know Ryan didn't grow up there, neither did Brad, but it seems like the writers probably did, and they truly knew what they were talking about. And I'm not gonna lie, this episode was damn, these episodes are good. I understand that people think it's just pushing a gay agenda or it's just trying to push AIDS on people, but I think beautiful. I think what they're doing is so fantastic with this season so far, and I'm really looking forward to see what goes on with the rest of them. So now I understand at this point, guys, we have definitely the rest of us that are still remaining have probably seen all of the episodes. So yeah, again, I just think that this season was definitely fantastic. I can't do my review yet for episode 9 and 10. I'm not ready to cry that hard again. I'm not. I can't. I can't. I'm just so that traumatized me. So after Thanksgiving, I'll probably have up the reviews, and which reminds me, I'm going to be offline for the week of Thanksgiving to spend with my family. So, but yeah, I thank you, Stephen. I know a lot of the non queer viewers were definitely not about this season. And I remember my husband was actually watching an episode with me, and it was one where they were in the bathhouse. And my husband was like, "What the fuck are you watching?" I'm like, "This is AHS." And it's like, I didn't know AHS did stuff like that. And I said, "Well, normally they don't, but yeah." Gamer Girl Gear says seemed more like Pose than AHS. It it definitely seemed like a massive mixture of Pose season 1 through 3 with a tiny touch of American Horror Story. I still don't understand the whole Mr. Whiteley and Big Daddy attacking people and shit like that. But when I do go through and do the rewatch, I think I'm gonna understand hopefully a little bit more. But yeah, it was just absolutely felt so much like Pose. I wondered when MJ Rodriguez was gonna show up or Miss Electra, and she was gonna be talking somebody off actually in the kitchen like she did before. So Steven says, "Oh, Mary, you have to visit NYC. I know, especially during Christmas. I would love to take my mother to New York City, especially during Christmas. I think she would absolutely love that. And I would absolutely love to go. So I have to. Steven, if you are from New York or if you have visited, I would definitely love to come check that out." Steven said it felt like Pose mixed with Dahmer, right? Oh my God. Oh, you know, my dad, I just want to say very quickly before we end this stream, my dad was one of the people who bet on one of Jeffrey Dahmer's freezers that he had in his basement. And of course he didn't get it because somebody had came through and purchased, all the items. But him and his coworkers came together, pulled their money and put in a bid for the freezer. And my dad tried to be so funny and say, "You know what they found whenever they opened that whenever they opened the freezer top, Mary?" So, "What's that, Dad?" Mind you, I'm like 12 or 13. And he said, "A Dahmer's nose pizza." That is the mentality there that people had about Jeffrey Dahmer and what he did way back then. So, Steven says it was absolutely a story that needed to be told. AIDS was a true American horror story. Exactly. And when Patrick was like, "Somebody please help me," in his hospital room at the end when he was so sick. Oh my God. That gave me such fucking trauma flashbacks from when I was in the hospital. Not with that, but when I had the poison and I was begging them, "Help me, please." And they ignored me. They wouldn't come help me. They wouldn't do anything. And I just, oh my God, that just hit me hard. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you give me a few minutes, I'm going to take a restroom break and I'll be right back for episode 5. Thank you all so much for being here and for your support. If you would like to support me further, go on ahead and like the video. You can take it another step further and subscribe if you want. Become a patron if you want for as low as $1. All that stuff. I love you guys. Y'all are the best, and I'll see you in a little bit. Bye.